What's up, people? A lot of people have been asking me for an updated in the bag, so that's exactly what we're doing today. This is my bag. I'm using a Grip Equipment AX5, I think it's called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's just take it from slowest to fastest discs, and I'll walk you through my bag. Warming up with my warm-up disc, which is the Kastaplast Sten. It's a really soft 127 gram catch disc, I would call it. And if you want to see more about this disc, check out the video right here. But moving on to my approach discs, my go-to for 4 years, I think, my K1 Barry. I use this for probably 80% of my approaches, and like 98% of those are on a forehand. So yeah, this is my go-to forehand approach disc. Just really straight, doesn't go far, so that's what I wanted to do. Always sits by the basket. But then, if I want a little bit more stability, I'm going with the Barry X. Basically the same type of shots, but like I said, a bit more stable. I've actually started to use both the Barry and the Barry X for backhands as well, which is really nice if you just want to throw it really hard and don't want to worry about going too far. Really nice approach discs and a must-have in every single bag, according to me. Moving on to my putting putters, and you've seen me putting with these basically the entire season. I'm using the K3 Hard Recos, and the reason I'm using the K3 Hard is that the normal K3s have a tendency to get a slight puddle top. Because they are a little bit more stiff, these ones just stay flat the entire time. Moving on to throwing putters, and I currently have two, the Reco and the Reco X. This Reco is really straight. If I throw it hard, I can get it to turn a little bit. But yeah, just a really nice straight putter. But then if I want a bit more stability, again, going with the Reco X. And this has probably been my most used disc between the distance of 70 to 85 meters. I just really love to throw this disc. And it got me a really sick ace in Finland as well. But I love throwing it on this slight little Annie, just getting it to kind of pan and go straight. So yeah, also a go-to disc for me. And again, a must-have in every single bag. And then for my overstable approach disc, I've got this K1 Soft Järn, and it's with the Kyman stamp. Shout out to Kyman. Just a really nice overstable approach disc, like all the overstable approach discs out there, but I don't know why, it's just better. I feel like I get more control on this disc than any other overstable approach disc, especially with the K1 Soft plastic. If you want to see more about this disc, check out this video right here. But yeah, just an amazing overstable approach disc. Lies really nice in the hand as well. Alright, moving on to mid-ranges. I'm still bagging the K3 Göte, and it's because it's probably my favorite mid-range in the game of disc golf. It's so much fun to throw. When you beat it in, it becomes this perfect, like, slight hyzer flip-up mid-range that just goes straight and glides for days. So if you still haven't tried out the K3 Göte, just go ahead and try it. You'll be amazed. It's so good. And it gives me a lot of aces, so that's a plus. Then a new disc in the bag. Because I love the Göte so much, I actually got myself a K1 Hard Göte, the Dallas Garber Tour Series Göte. And I used to bag the K1 Glow Göte, but I wanted something that's a little bit more overstable and that I can actually trust when I throw it hard. And this one, I'm not really sure if it is what I want it to be, but it's a really nice straight Göte. And like all Götes, really glidey, but yeah, I don't trust it 100% yet, but I haven't used it that much, so maybe that's why. Then I have my Svea, which is really understable. And I do have 3 5-speed mid-ranges, going from understable to straight to overstable. So this is the understable one, and yeah, just a really steep hyzer flip up and insane glide. If you think the glide on the Göte is insane, try the Svea, it's mind-blowing. But then, making a comeback to the bag, what I'm missing in the Kastaplast lineup is a 5-speed mid-range. That's just that classic straight mid-range. Put it on a slight little hyzer, get that stand up, and it just goes straight, but still have that stable finish. I don't feel like there's something like that in the Kastaplast lineup. I mean, the K3 Göte does pretty much that, but it's a bit slower and doesn't really have that finish at the end. It just holds the line. So I actually put down my old Halloween Buzz, and this is the first non-Kastaplast disc in my bag. I do actually have 3, well, I guess 4, but one is just a utility disc. Stay tuned for that one. But yeah, just a classic mid-range, the Buzz. I think everyone has tried out the Buzz once or twice, and yeah, this one is just the perfect buzz. But then moving on to the overstable mid-range, I've got the Nord, and I really like this disc. I like to shape it on like every single line in the woods. It's just really reliable and just a perfect overstable mid-range. My favorite throw with it is to put it on this slight little anhyzer, get it to pan out, and then it glides really well, but still has that little hook at the end. Really overstable mid-range and a staple in my bag. That's it for mid-ranges. And this next category could also fit into mid-ranges, but I want to give it its own kind of slot because they fly like mid-ranges, but they go as far as fairway drivers. So I wouldn't call them either. But yeah, these are the 6 speeds in my bag. Starting off with a really flippy one, the K1 Soft Stig. And if you missed it in the video where I get 3 aces in one round, this is the one I hyzer flip on the perfect line on a 98-meter hole and get the ace. I use it for these really steep hyzer stand-ups and even sometimes rollers. Also, actually really nice for forehands. I like to throw it on like soft forehands on a pretty steep hyzer, get it to stand up and just glide straight. Such a nice forehand disc. I don't think a lot of people use it for forehands, but if you use it for other things, try it out on a forehand. It's so nice. And next up is probably my favorite disc in my bag right now. I throw this so much and I just love how it feels and flies. It's my K1 Soft Kastaplast. It lies perfectly in my hand and it flies perfectly out of my hand. What more could you want? I like to call this my laser straight disc because when I throw it on this slight little hyzer, get it to flip up to flat, it just goes laser straight for so long. On my normal shots, this goes like 95 to 100 meters and I know what it's gonna do every single time. Like I said, probably my favorite disc in the bag right now. Then I wanted a bit more overstable 6-speed, and then I actually went for another Kastaplast, but it's the old Kastaplast with the big SATA, and this one is actually a lot more overstable than the K1 Soft. I can throw it flat and I know it's always gonna come out left. Just a really nice overstable 6-speed. But that's it in the 6-speed category. Moving on to fairway drivers, and I do actually have one 7-speed, which is the K1 Grind Idog. The K1 Grind is a little bit more understable than the normal K1, which makes this a perfect 7-speed that you can shape into basically anything you want. And it goes surprisingly far as well. Really nice 7-speed. Then I have 4 9-speed fairway drivers, from most understable to most overstable. Starting with the Falk. This one is so understable. If I have the slightest headwind, this is basically unthrowable. I use this for a lot of rollers and also these really steep hyzer flip-ups. This and the next 9-speed go insanely far. If you get it on the right line, these go probably as far as my fastest distance drivers. The glide is just crazy on these discs. And the other one I'm talking about is my Lutz. And this one is not even close to as flippy as the Falk, but still has a little bit of drift. So I would say this is my go-to 9-speed. Just like the Idog, can pretty much shape this into anything I want. But just as an example of how far this goes, when I was warming up at Västerhaninge before the Swedish Championships, I emptied my bag and I threw every single disc on pretty much 90 to 95% power. And out of all my discs, this went the furthest. It's a little bit downhill, but it still went 138 meters. For a 9-speed, that's insane for me. So if you haven't tried out the Lutz, go get yourself one. You will not be disappointed. But then for the next 9-speed, I actually wanted a disc that's really flat and flies flat, in other words straight, but still has a little bit of stability at the end. So basically something that I could trust on a flat release to just go flat and then hyzer out. And to get that out of the Kastaplast lineup, I would have to get my hands on a really flat stall that's beat in to become straight, and that's really hard to get by. So I actually still throw the Thunderbird, and this is really flat. This and the next one are pretty much my go-to forehand discs. But like I said, when I release this flat, it just goes straight and then has that reliable finish at the end. I actually throw this one on the course a lot. Really nice disc. But then like I said, the more overstable one, it's my stall. And this one also really flat. I know the new Fritjof Tour Series stalls are really flat and overstable, but these closest to pin K1 stalls, they're pretty hard to get by, but I think these are even flatter. If I lose this though, I'm 100% going to go for a Fritjof stall. But yeah, really overstable fairway driver. I can trust this disc even through the craziest of headwinds. So it's just a must-have. Love this one. And I got it from Patrik Eriksson, thank you. Like a lot of other discs as well, like the Stig and Kastaplast. So a huge thanks to Patrik Eriksson for setting me up with these amazing discs. I couldn't go a single round without my Stig or stall. But that's been it for fairway drivers. Now moving on to the fun stuff, the distance drivers. I actually keep it really simple here. I really like the Guld, so I actually have 3 Gulds in my bag, going from understable to overstable. But then I wanted something really overstable and something really understable, so I do have 2 other discs as well. But let's start with the most understable one, the 11 specifically. Jävlar, var kom du ifrån? Du ska inte komma hit då! Din dummas fan. Specifically the K1 Grind 11. K1 Grind, like I said before, a lot flippier than the normal K1. So this is my really understable distance driver that I use for rollers, really steep hyzer stand-ups. But I think the most used shot with this disc is the really steep pushing stand-up hyzer that just keeps on gliding on a hyzer. I've always loved to throw discs on a pushing hyzer, but my problem is that when I throw it on that type of hyzer, I lose so much distance. But with this disc, I can actually push it to over 400 feet on that pushing hyzer line, which is just insane for me, because if I go for a max distance line, I could probably throw it max 430. And it has a bit of a dome, so it's really glidey. You can hear the heartbeat. So yeah, maybe that's why it goes so far. I've been using this so much lately. But then moving on to the Gulds, and like I said, I have 3. The first one is pretty understable and probably my go-to standard like distance shot. I like to throw it on this slight little hyzer, get it to stand up and drift right, and yeah, it goes really far. But then for that same type of shot, but I want a bit more stability, then I'm going with my white K1 Guld, and I use this quite a bit for forehands as well. Speaking of forehands, the most overstable Guld in my bag, really flat, which is really hard to get by when it comes to Gulds. But because it's so flat, it lies really nice in my hand for forehands, and that's why this is my go-to forehand distance driver. Just a really nice overstable distance driver. I don't know what more to say. It's so good. Shout out to Fredrik, by the way. Got this from him. But then, like I said, I wanted something that's even more overstable, so I can throw it into basically any headwind and don't have to worry about it flipping over. I used to have my Calvin Halo Destroyer for that, but I actually lost it in Norway. So then I had to get something new, and I knew exactly what I was looking for because I wanted something that was exactly like that disc. So then I went for another Calvin Halo Destroyer, and I actually bought this in Finland when I was there and watching the World Championships. Just outside of the venue they had these like tents where they were selling discs, and they had like a big stack of these exact destroyers. So I went through probably this big of a stack of only these destroyers to try to find the one with the highest parting line and the most dome, to get it to have that glide but still crazy overstable. And that's exactly what this is, a really overstable but still glidey destroyer. And that's the third disc that's not Kastaplast in my bag. But like I said, I do actually have 4. And the last one is just a utility disc. I think I've actually used it in a real round like 3 or 4 times. And I've had it in the bag for like a month. So yeah, just a utility disc. But it is an MVP Energy. And to describe how this flies, I would say that it's a faster tilt. This is so stupidly overstable that it's pretty much unusable unless you're in big trouble. I have actually used it, I think 2 or 3 times in an actual round for grenade shots. Usually when you throw a grenade, it goes up and then it pans to the right. And if it's really understable, it's gonna flip even more and pan even more. But this is so overstable, it doesn't do that. It goes up and it goes down. It doesn't move. So that's pretty much the only time I actually use it. When you need it, it's really useful, but most of the time you're not gonna need it. That's the last disc, but I do have more stuff in my bag that I want to show you as well. As you can see, I have all these nice patches and stuff. We have Rocket Discs, which is a company that I'm sponsored by. This one, it's a disc golf web shop that sells pretty much everything you need in disc golf. So if you're looking for some new discs or maybe a new bag or anything in disc golf, head over to Rocket Discs and use my personal code KevinK5 for 5% off. And we're both gaining from it. So head over there, get some nice stuff. But then I do have these patches as well and pins. So like this one, Disc Golf is in my heartbeat. It's a nice patch. What can I say? Make more birdies and a 3-putt antidote. But then I do have these pins as well. This one says keep calm and throw discs. I have this really nice Birdie King pin here as well. And then we have one that says parked, and it's a car that's crashed into the pole of the basket. I thought it's funny. Vad säger du för något? What's going on? I'm getting attacked by birds. Come on guys, leave. I'm doing an in the bag. Come on, move on, move on. Bye bye. You too. I can see you. Go to your friends, buddy. Come on. Now stay there. Stay. Alright, back to the bag. Then I have 3 more patches. No! I've lost a pin. No. Well, that means I have to get more. Alright, I have the Ace Seeker and the Bogeyman. Like the details on this one is, yeah, it just blows my mind. And then I have this marker. It's a really nice soft PVC plastic marker, and it reminds me to not be a chicken. And these guys aren't chickens either, but they just chickened out because they just left. I won. Then I have this really nice shock bag. I think it says tacky sack. For me, just a perfect amount of shock. If I want more shock, I'm still going with the ball, but like you saw in the video where we tested it out, it's a lot of shock. And for me, most of the time, a bit too much. He's back again. Bro! That's right, he chickened out. And remember, don't be a chicken. Then I have this towel, 100% by far the best disc golf towel I've ever used. These are so good. Before I got this, I had to pack like 5 or 6 towels in my bag for wet rounds, and most of the times that wasn't even enough. With this, most of the time I'm good with just 1, which is just crazy. It's so good. And then just for fun, I do actually still have the shot shaper, and why it's still on my bag is because it's so small. It doesn't take up space, it just hangs there, and it brings a lot of fun when you want it, so why not have it on your bag? But yeah, all of these things, the patches, pins, towels, and the shot shaper, you can all get at bouncebackdiscgolf.com, plus a lot more. And if you use my code KKDG, you get 15% off your entire order. Oh my god, he's back! Bro, what the is your problem, man? I guess he's not a chicken. But yeah, go to Bounce Back Disc Golf. And if you don't trust me, just try out the towel. I promise you, it's so freaking good. I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it. You guys can trust me on that. Then I do have a rangefinder, and it's not any special rangefinder. I think this is for normal golf. It's a Nikon Coolshot 20 G2, I think. And it works perfectly for what I use it for. Then I have a tick bite kit, so I can get rid of any ticks I get on the course. Apparently I have some candy, didn't know that. I have some allergy pills. Bro, how are you still here? Do you want my discs or what's going on? Why are you coming back here? Then I have some surgical tape, which is perfect if you cut your fingers on the course or something. Just good to have in the bag. And I also have some nail clippers. Sometimes when you have a bit too long nails, it can feel weird to hold the discs. So that's why I always carry this in the bag. He's here in front of me now. What do you want? I don't have food. Here, try out the sten. Then I have a flashlight. That's dead. This is a really strong flashlight though. I got it from my dad, and with those late night rounds, especially winter time, it's nice to have when you're just finishing those last holes and it's getting too dark. And I always bring a small bottle of disinfectant hand gel, because if you get sap on your hands, it's really hard to get off. But with this, just wash your hands with it and it's gone in seconds. And then lastly, I have a knife. If I get a slash in my disc or anything, I can just cut it off. And then lastly, a pen, so I can mark my discs and sign discs as well, which is a lot of fun. When people come up and want me to sign discs, I'm always ready. And then last thing in my bag, this thing right here. This is a suction cup disc retriever that becomes 20 feet long, which is exactly how far you are from me. which is really good to have if you're stuck in a tree or if you lose the disc in water. Made from carbon fiber as well, so really sturdy, which is really nice. And the suction cup works incredibly good. Oh no, I dropped it. Got it back. But that's been it. That's my updated in the bag. I know it's the end of the season, but a lot of people have been asking me to do this in the bag. So yeah, here it is. And I think it's nice to see what has changed during the season, because the first in the bag was basically just in the beginning when I was sponsored by Kastaplast. And now it's been over half a year, so a lot of things are still in the bag, but a lot of things have changed. And I think it's nice to see what changes during an entire season. But yeah, that's been it. So thank you guys for all the support, and thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you want to see next. Don't forget the bell, as always. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.